All right, seventh graders, this is to help you with question 6 on CR14. It says to solve 12x minus a negative 5 equals negative 43. Okay, so we're going to solve this equation. Before I even start, I'm going to take this double sign, two signs touching, and rewrite it as a single sign. Minus a negative is plus. So I'm just going to write this as 12x plus 5 equals negative 43. Now I'm going to solve this two-step equation. In order to solve a two-step equation, the first thing you need to do is undo addition, subtraction. That's ugly. Sorry. To move all constants, those numbers without x's attached, to move all constants to the right side of equal sign. All right. So I'm going to undo this addition to start the problem. I need to move all my constants together on one side. So all my numbers without x's attached have to be moved to one side of the equal sign. So I focus on the side that has the x, and I undo this addition using subtraction because I'm trying to peel away the layers so eventually x is by itself. So we undo addition with subtraction. So I would subtract 5 from the left side of my equal sign. If I'm going to subtract 5 from the left side of my equal sign, I also subtract 5 on the right-hand side of my equal sign. 5 minus 5 zeroes out. Bye-bye, 5s. The nice thing here is now we're left with 12x. You can see I'm creating a much simpler equation to solve. That's what we do. We peel away layer by layer so that eventually we're left with just x by itself. Negative 43 minus 5, signs are the same. I find the sum, I keep the sign. So we know our answer will be a negative. Negative 43 minus 5, I'm going to find the sum. 43 and 5 more is 48, keeping my negative sign. Step 2, I undo my multiplication or division to get my coefficient on my variable. To be a 1. So that's what I want to do at this point. In order to get x by itself, I have to get rid of this 12 in front of the x so that x can be alone. Well, what's the operation between the 12 and the x? The operation between the 12 and the x is multiplication. How do I undo multiplication? I undo multiplication using division. In 7th grade, we write our fraction bar for division. What am I going to divide on the left side so that x can be all by itself? I'm going to divide by whatever the number in front of x is. So I'm going to divide by 12. If I divide the left-hand side of my equal sign by 12, I must also divide the right-hand side of my equal sign by 12. 12 divided by 12, fancy form of 1. 1x is just x. Negative divided by a positive is a negative. 48 divided by 12, I believe, is 4. Let me just double check. 12 times 4, 2 times 4 is 8. 4 times 1 is 4. Yep. 48 divided by 12 is 4. So the correct answer here is a negative 4. How do I check to be sure negative 4 is the correct answer? Well, I do a lovely check. I take my original equation, 12x. I could write it as minus a negative 5. I'm just going to write it as plus 5 equals negative 43. In place of x, I'm going to substitute a negative 4. 12 times negative 4 plus 5. I'm hoping that gives me 43. I now simplify this side. 12 times negative 4. A positive times a negative is a negative. 12 times 4 is 48. So I have 48 plus 5. I'm hoping that's negative 43. Signs are different. I find the difference. What's the difference between 48 and 5? If I take 5 away from 48, I'm left with 43. What do I have more of? Well, I have 48 negatives, only 5 positives. I definitely have more negatives. So this simplifies to negative 43, and I'm like, whoop, whoop. Those two sides match. The check works, which tells me x is negative 4 was the correct answer. Using a check, you should always know on an equation test whether or not you got the right answer. So you should know walking away from your equation test next week pretty much how you did on it, as long as you actually follow through and do your checks. I hope that helps.